Guys, Luna here, welcome back to another Red Dead Online guide video, where I'm going to be comparing the three in-game rifles, the Varmint, the Bolt Action and Springfield, plus including the sniper rifles, Carcano and Rolling Block when possible. If the video is helpful, a like is appreciated, so let's begin. For testing, all weapons are fully cleaned, weapons are modded and using standard ammo. I also started testing online but discovered the weapon stats are identical on and off, so offline it's just easier to test repeatedly, which is what I did, but I will discuss the difference between on and offline damage. We'll start with damage then, and I've converted these into a number out of 100, where 100 is the highest possible damage for any weapon, and we get, for the Varmint rifle, a damage stat of 40 out of 100, the Bolt Action 72, Carcano 75, Springfield 80, and the Rolling Block 85. The Rolling Block then is twice as powerful as the Varmint, so the Varmint should in theory require twice the number of bullets to kill the same player as the others. Comparing these for getting kills, in-game you can see that this is in fact true. The Rolling Block rifle has the highest damage at 85, kills in 1 hit. The Springfield and Carcano and Bolt Action all get kills with 2 hits to the chest, and the Varmint requires 4. Of course, damage varies depending on who you're shooting at. As a rule of thumb, killing regular NPCs will require 1 less bullet than what I showed. Lawmen and coach drivers for some reason seem to have better health than the regular NPCs. If you're killing online players, anywhere up to twice as much health, so the Varmint rifle can take up to 8 bullets to kill with chest shots. This is because health stat, health core, weapon condition, ammo used, and more affect the damage that you receive, so expect online damage to be different from player to player. It could be anywhere up to twice as much as I show in the video against these NPCs. But that's the only stat that can vary. The rest of these stats will be the same for everyone on and offline. So let's take a look at the weapon range, and this is determined by the weapon's lock-on range. We're going to compare the 3 rifles only. Of course, the sniper rifles have no auto-aim. As you can see here, the Springfield, Varmint and Bolt Action are nearly all identical in range, at the point at which auto-aim starts to work. The Varmint has a range stat of 68 compared to the Bolt Action 78, yet in game this only translates into a few steps. Sometimes you might not even notice the difference at all. When you apply different ammo and mods to increase range further, again there's very little noticeable difference. All weapons are about equal no matter what you do, makes mods and ammo and rifles anyway pointless, so it may just be that the range stats in game are bugged, because as far as I can tell there's no difference between the 3. The sniper rifles, as they cannot equip their scopes, they have no auto-aim, and so if you can see an enemy through your scope, then you can hit the target at any range. So no difference between the rifles. Rate of fire of the Varmint rifle has exactly 41 milliseconds between shots when aiming down sights. The Bolt Action, 1.24 seconds between shots. The Carcano, 1.32 seconds, just slightly slower than the Bolt Action. The Springfield, 2.02 seconds, time between shots, twice as long as the Bolt Action. The Rolling Block at 2.37 seconds, half a second longer again. So the Varmint is hands down the best for rapid firing. The Springfield and Rolling Block are single shot, and so include their reload times in the time between shots, so you have to keep that in mind. And I will do a comparison once we test out the reload speeds of the other ones as well. For hip firing, the Varmint, Bolt Action and Carcano are all faster again than if you aim down the sight. The single shot weapons, the Springfield and Rolling Block, have slightly slower firing rates than when aiming down sights, which is strange. You'd usually find firing from the hip to be faster. Again, I'm not too sure if those were bugged, but if you plan to fire from the hip, and it can be useful when you're using rifles, especially a sniper rifle, at close range. You won't be able to scope to get kills really close range, and firing from the hip can be useful, so this stat is something that you want to look at. Let's take a look at reload speeds. Well, you can see on the screen with the rifles, the time varies for a single reload, and you can see the times between those. However, the reload speeds will vary depending on the weapon, because the Carcano reloads all 6 bullets at once, while the Bolt Action and Varmint reload bullets individually, meaning reload speed will depend on how many rounds you've fired. The Rolling Block and Springfield rifle will reload between each shot. So you can see the time between reload speeds there for all the weapons, however it doesn't really reflect how that works in game. So since there's so much variance between the weapons' rate of fire and reloads, we're going to work out the rounds per minute then to see roughly what is the quickest weapon for firing. And it works out at, for the Varmint rifle, 84 rounds per minute, so that is a lot. The Carcano comes in second at half of that at 42. The Bolt Action at 36 rounds per minute, and both the Springfield and Rolling Block at 30 rounds per minute. So while the Springfield, for example, has a longer firing time between shots compared to the Bolt Action, once you factor in the reload, there's not a lot of difference between rounds per minute for the 2 weapons. What about getting headshots then? And we're going to measure this with accuracy. Accuracy in game is measured with the weapon's bloom. The initial bloom is the circle that appears when you first press aim. This decreases over time the longer you hold the aim button, and the more accurate your shot will be, because bullets can only hit inside of the bloom area. I measured this by aiming each weapon and counting the time it takes for the bloom's reticle to decrease 100%, almost perfect aim. The quickest is the bolt action rifle at 35 milliseconds. The rest are all between 40 and 45 milliseconds, there's no real difference between them. So if you're trying to get a kill and want 100% accuracy, the bolt action will get you there the quickest. However, that's not really the most important factor for headshots. The most important thing for accuracy is the weapon that can get their weapon bloom down to the point where you're guaranteed to get headshot and can get your shot off as quick as possible. And if we take a look at the weapon's bloom at 19 milliseconds, which is the point at which all guns can fire, you can see the varmint has a much smaller sized bloom, and so at this point you can essentially fire your gun and guarantee a headshot if you're aiming at your opponent's head. While you would still need to wait a little bit for the bloom to decrease for the other two rifles, especially the Springfield, and this is why the current meta for PvP online is the varmint rifle, because at the point when you can fire, that has the smallest bloom. So I hope this has helped you decide on what weapon is best to use for rifles. The bolt action fires around 36 rounds per minute to the Springfield's 30. For damage, the Springfield is slightly higher, but not by a noticeable difference when in a fight, and if you were to compare the damage dealt over just say 10 seconds of firing, the bolt action would eventually deal more damage thanks to its faster fire rate. So if you're fighting multiple enemies, then the bolt action is definitely going to be the better choice. The bolt action has a better accuracy to reach 100% quicker, so again is the best rifle for that. However, if you're going solely for headshots, then the varmint rifle will be the best choice there. For range, it seems like all weapons do about the same, so there's no difference between them. So then, the best weapon to choose for the rifles is the bolt action, the varmint if you're only going for headshots, and the Springfield, although it has the highest damage, it just doesn't compare with the other stats for those two rifles. For the snipers, this is a bit trickier. The rolling block does more damage for low health players like NPCs. You can kill in one shot, so it's the best choice. However, against higher health players like online opponents, you can deal more damage eventually with the Carcano, with its higher fire rate. So it really depends on your own accuracy, how many opponents you're fighting. Less accurate players should probably choose the Carcano. Don't forget it also has a faster hip fire rate, which can come in handy when you're using a sniper rifle if you get swamped by lawmen or other players at really close range. To see more Red Dead Online videos, including more guides and updates, subscribe and notifications on. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.